Melbourne home prices fall in November, but rise for spring overall. CoreLogic. Melbourne was the only Australian capital where home values fell in the final month of spring, with prices buckling under the weight of unit supply. But despite the city's 1.5% decline in November, CoreLogic's latest Hedonic Home Value Index found dwelling values were still up over the most recent quarter and year-on-year, largely due to a continued shortage of houses on the market. Forecast: Melbourne property value growth to stagnate, CoreLogic-Moody say. Stellar spring. Melbourne's housing market produces strong spring performance. Property prices in Victoria's capital were 1.5% higher than they were at the start of spring and up 11.3% on this time last year, according to the report. CoreLogic says Melbourne's annual growth rate is second only to Sydney's 13.1% increase. The city's median dwelling price sits at $623,500. CoreLogic head of research Tim Lawless said it appeared higher units supply was progressively weighing down the capital gains across Melbourne. The city's unit prices experienced a substantial 3.2% decline in November, while houses fell by 1.3%. With the unit supply pipeline remaining substantial, we expect to see a continuation of weaker market conditions across those unit markets where high supply levels are dampening the prospects for higher value growth, he said. When it came to houses, lower stock levels had helped push Melbourne values up in spring, Mr. Lawless said. Vendors are still very much in the driver's seat, and buyers have little in the way of leverage to negotiate or time to consider their purchase decision. Listing numbers are down 2.9% in Melbourne on this time last year. Properties are spending an average of just 32 days on the market in the city, indicating a seller's market. Mr. Lawless said Melbourne's lackluster November had contributed to a softening of the national growth rate. Dwelling values in the combined capitals rose by just 0.2% last month, the weakest month-on-month result since December 2015, despite prices growing in the 7 other Aussie capitals. Mr. Lawless said Australian property values had been steadily rising for 4.5 years now and have jumped a massive 46.3% in Melbourne over that time frame. Further figures from SQM research indicate Melbourne, and also Hobart, are leading property price gains in Australia. They show asking prices in Victoria's capital jumped 13.4% for houses to $805,000 in the year to November, the highest rate experienced nationwide, and 5.2% for units to $459,800, second only to Hobart. These growth rates smashed Sydney's 4.7% gains for houses and 4.6% for units, according to SQM. But both CoreLogic and SQM note that Sydney still commands the nation's highest property prices. Samantha.Landy@news.com.au